Here we are back live. We was gone last week, but we back this week. We're gonna be talking about the being open-minded, open-ended, I should say, in thought and spirit, mental. You already know Jazzy.
Peace,
So we
everyone.
we back at it again. We got a lot to cover. So we're going to talk about being what is open ended, and we covered this a few times, but it was
hmm
the first actual key in the Book of Enoch.
hmm
So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the revelations that has came to me. But before we even go on there, we started to talk off air, and we had to just conclude it right now. So Jazzy, go over. What did you say? You need the power to say what
The power of saying no
to who?
to everything outside yourself.
And why
Uh,
is that important? Why do you think that's where have you been or you've come from your spiritual journey?
mhm.
Because now, once you get on that journey, there's small things you learn that propel you. So where have you come from your spiritual journey to be like, why is now I need to say no important?
Well, one of the things is because that was one of the things that helped me go ahead and kick off my spirituality walk.
Okay.
Um, so that was the first step. It was just like, you realize within yourself that things is chaos and that you're trying to become whole with self. And the only way you can do that is by saying no. And that means to like those five sugars that we always talk about, the things that look good, feel good, smell good, and sound good. All of your five senses. So whatever way that's tunneling inside internally within yourself that's allowing you to go ahead and be distracted. And it may be the things like with me at first, it was the big distractions that I went ahead and I was just like, nah, I ain't with it. I ain't a part of that no more. But then every time you go ahead and then like that was one of the things that was important to me about fasting, which I broke this week. And I realized that that's what keyed a lot of this on, that I fast from social media from Wednesday until Sunday. And then little things, birthdays, people, stuff started coming up. And then I was just like, man, I gotta,
Well,
so,
that's
and
just a fast for the mind.
right.
That fasting from distractions and other things that try to distract your energy or your time.
hmm And so that was one of the things, and then it just led me, and then I was like, you know what, I'll just do it again next. Which I should have did was like, you know what, nope, it's okay to make mistakes. You know what I'm saying? Pick up from where you are and keep going.
And no, you're
Because
going to make mistakes.
right,
It's okay, but you're going to do
hmm
it. And we ain't perfect. We
right,
strive for
to be,
perfection,
right, right,
but we know
right,
we're not going to be perfect.
hmm
But that don't mean we can't strive for something.
right,
That's what coming back to our topic, open
hmm
ended.
hmm
There's no limit. There's no ceiling
hmm
once you become open ended. And that's where our whole topic, thank you, Jazzy, that we was coming in to talk about is about being open ended.
hmm
So it came to me, I was just sitting here thinking about being open ended, the many in the many in the one universe. Bro, it my spirit started talking to me. It was like, yeah, that's when you tasted the infinite and touched
and the
the
infinite.
eternal.
Mhm.
Because once you know, oh, wait a minute, all these things spiral into bigger, greater, more powerful entities of what they are.
Mhm.
Even the concepts grow into these 360 circles of 720 to 1180 vortexes into something different, something better.
Mhm.
Being open ended in spirit, open ended in mind, open ended mind, meaning that mind expansion. Remember, we was talking about that, Jazzy?
Mind expansion.
That mind expansion. For y'all that don't know, that mind expansion is when you are going on the inner depths of you.
Mhm.
It's a part of the shadow work, the deepest part, past shadow work. Shadow
Mhm.
work's just the beginning. That's the prerequisite. Ooh, I didn't say
Mhm.
that right, but you know what I'm saying.
Prerequisite. Yeah,
Yes,
I
that's
know. We
that's
was talking
what
about
you
that
need
the
to
other
do
day.
before. This is what
Mhm.
you need to have right there is do that
Mhm.
shadow work. Be honest with yourself so you can open yourself up.
Mhm.
Ah, there it is. as the spirit communicates.
Mhm.
Being honest with yourself is opening yourself up to the openness and opening up your mind so that now you can connect it to the infinite mind,
You know, so
the eternal. Go ahead.
you know what? And that so goes into what I was just saying, because the whole thing about it, before you can even start your shadow work, the beginning stages, like you said, go ahead and get you the prerequisites. I'm messing it up too. However, the thing is, the power of saying no. I mean, you got to say no to a lot of things, man. To go
But
ahead and
especially to self. That's where the power is when you can
that's
say
where it
no to self.
starts. If you say no to self, everything else is just
And that's where it goes in once you change your mind. If you change your mind, everything else has to follow
your
because the mind
frequency,
is no longer
everything.
giving it energy.
Hmm. Hmm.
Once again, opening up self.
Opening it, yeah, opening up,
Open.
open.
There's no ceiling.
Hmm.
Anything that you get into nowadays in this day and time from moving forward, if there's a ceiling to it, if there's a spot you can't go beyond, drop it like it's hot.
Hmm.
Because
You know,
everything is about the infinite and eternal now. Everything is about the being open ended, spiritually, mentally, not being closed in.
mhm,
Here's where it goes. So it went to that, right, Jazzy? Then it said, so you have your infinite and eternal. The infinite and eternal is opening up your mind. But the entropy, which would be the decay of matter, is boxing it in. But
mhm.
the centropy is still there. So there's the
Yeah.
anthropodic part of us, the part of us that is dying,
Mhm.
that is not getting better. It's getting worse. All right. Then you have a part of us,
And we
our
should
thought, our spirit. Go ahead.
that part of us should be the part of us saying no and going ahead and expanding our mind expansion. So the part that's decaying should be dying anyways.
Facts. That it should be. I don't call it dying. What I call it is playing its role. Getting your part. You
Corrosion.
don't tell me when
Mhm.
you're hungry. You don't tell me when you're thirsty. You don't tell me what you need. I got that.
Mhm.
You don't coerce me to eat chocolates, sugars, looks good, feels good, tastes good, sounds good, smells good. You don't keep
Mhm.
me in this world. I keep myself where I'm at.
You know, mental, it's just that, like, every level that you know on this journey, that you feel like, like, remember when I was going through the whole shadow stuff and everything,
Hmm.
the shadow me. Okay, so, and then I started to realize that, even as far as like grounding, getting fresh air, getting sun, and then going back to the thing, it's on my heart so bad about saying no, is because you said, you know what, I'm done with a lot of those things. But you know what, when no comes up again, it comes up in other ways that, it's not those same things no more. It's not that fight anymore. It's another fight that you got to take on.
Well,
And you
you
still
got to
have to stand
remember,
your ground and say no.
once you get past the physical body, how
Hmm.
much you're eating, control your eating, what you're drinking, you know what I'm saying? What
Hmm.
you like, what you want. Once you get past the sugars,
Hmm.
the five sugars, now you got to deal with the principalities, the thoughts.
Hmm.
You got to deal with the inner emotions of why you wanted those things.
Hmm.
You see what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
That's
So
it. That's
once
why I
you
said the
become
fight. The
infinite,
fight changed. The game to the fight changes at
it
that point.
starts to
It's the
change. Right.
change. It's
It is
not the same.
it's totally different. So now
Hmm.
you're in a thought battle.
Hmm.
All right. Because what's
Hmm.
happening, your mind is opening up and it's freeing you from this gravitationally trapped light, which is this matter, this
Hmm.
physical body, this meat suit, where the
Hmm.
mind is not gravitationally trapped, nor the spirit,
Hmm.
nor the soul, which we are also a part of, this open ended of us. So the more we go up into the open ended us, we see that there's no ceiling.
Hmm. And
You
the
see what I'm
width.
saying?
None of this
None,
or
nope,
none of that.
none of that. None, none. We're going back to the essence of what's real, being open ended, open minded. And it correlates to time because once you get in that drift, now you can control time.
Mhm. And you know what it's
You can
like?
focus on each second, each minute. Go ahead.
You know what? And that comes in the point on the play where reptiles, like turtles, snakes,
Uh-huh.
spiders, they all shed their skin. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just no longer, you can't fit
A
into that
rebirth.
old size because you you rebirthing and you're expanding each time.
Ex- what is it? Baptizing. All right, I don't need that old body no more. Now I'm new. Well, that's what
Even
happens when you change your mind. It's the same type of experience,
take
except
it to nature.
we need to change it from being finite, from
Mhm.
anthropathic thought, meaning
To
thought that is
centipede.
trapped in light, thought that is
Mhm.
trapped in darkness, trapped in low vibrational energy. That thought versus centropy, thought that is trapped in capital L light, energetic light
Mhm.
that has no death, no end. That's when they go with the whole when you die, you go to heaven. There isn't, yeah, because now you're in centropy. And centropy is the energetic field, that circle that surrounds entropy.
Mhm.
So everlasting light surrounds this shroud right now that we're in, of entropy, of decay and death. But yes, the physical body will die. It will go back to the clay that it was made from, back to the dirt.
It's almost like when you read biblical scriptures that everything has a season. You know, like even the trees and the flowers outside, even though it's summertime, it's nice, but you know what's gonna happen? They're gonna start to entropy and they're gonna fall off and they're
It's
gonna
gonna
die.
fall off, but it's gonna come back.
Come back
It's
in a
only a
bigger way.
cycle, a
And when it comes back,
reincarnation.
it's bigger.
It's better. It's stronger. It's been through that much more.
Hmm.
And that's how our cycles of life should be down here. But now, since everything is privy, now I'm starting to understand why the whole spirit wanted me to start talking about what we talk about: spiritual liberation, conscious development, mind expansion. You understand what I'm saying? Higher spiritual principles, because some of us are on it right now. We just don't know what to call it.
And you know, and check this out too. I was just thinking about entropy, right?
Uh-huh.
The
The
part
decay
where
of matter.
okay, so even if you look at when I was saying earlier about the reptiles and about like the spiders and stuff, when they go ahead and then they get ready to outgrow their shell. Now, if they don't outgrow, what happens? The one that's inside the shell gets weaker, and entropy goes ahead and and then until it weakens and then it kills it. You
Hmm.
have to go. You have to go ahead. If you're not growing, you're doing the opposite. You're dying.
If
You
you ain't
know,
getting better, you getting worse.
then worse. So it's and the whole thing is not having the fear to go ahead and say I need to come out my shell to grow. Because that's the crippling
Well,
thing. It's
well, when
it's
you
dark
start
out there. It's dark out there. I don't know. It's unknown. But you know what? You
facts,
can't be afraid to grow. You know what I'm saying? You have sometimes in life look back and you're like, okay, yeah, I learned my lesson. I've outgrown that. You see what I'm saying? So
most
that's the
of our
whole thing.
problems are we're locked into what we like, want, and feel and
It's,
desire.
it's
That's
those
the
sugars.
problem. And those are the sugars. Looks
Mm,
good, feels good, tastes good, sounds good, smells good. Those are the sugars. We're locked into it. So we don't leave room for higher conscious development, higher conscious thought. We ain't even thinking about that. That's
mm,
why we call them sheep.
mhm,
85% sheep. They going by what looks good, tastes good, smells good, sounds good, feels good. That's what they're locked into. We're
and-
breaking the mold because we're opening up our mind
mhm,
for higher concepts of us, of this melanin, how light breaks into darkness.
mhm,
Okay?
mhm.
So, saying that, Jazzy, I just want to go over this real quick, real quick.
Go ahead.
Back to the book of knowledge.
Okay.
Always scholarship.
Mhm,
Always scholarship. The one thing you'll learn if they real about it, JJ Herrick, Hertak. All right, so we've been talking about being open ended and what does it mean? All
mhm,
right, so we live in the many and the one, and the many in the one universe. The creative mind as the center of the universe is known as the King, Lord, Redeemer. Right? The creations which survive are creations which desire that the species gather life and light into the image and similitude of higher revelation, which is the living universe. This is key 1, 2, and 3, the very first keys we started with. All right. We're going to show you the progression. So first, we live in the many in the one universe. We live in the infinite and the eternal right here, right now. The more access you have to your higher spiritual gifts of the spirit, the more you exercise and focus in on your pineal gland, pituitary gland, and hippocampus to a higher power, activate that spiritual body of truth within you so you can open up your mind to be open-ended. All right. Then the creative mind. We all have creative minds. Think about it. The creative mind as the center of the universe is known as the King, Lord. That's you. You are the center of your universe. You are the creative mind. What is it connected to? It's connected to the many in the one universe, open-ended. I'm trying to break it down even different because now we know. The last one, the creations which survive are creations which desire that the species gather life, and light, capital L, life, capital L, life, into the image and similitude of higher evolution, which is the living universe. So number one, which creations have to do this to survive and which creations are already down here? Everlasting life is a part of us. We already there. We're down here to help other people's, or we're down here to get something else. It ain't got nothing to do with us exactly trying to survive because we're already from the darkness and we will go back there from which the light came. That's where we're from. So it's saying the creations would survive. We want to gather what? Life and light, Jazzy. Life and light into the image and the similitude of higher evolution, which is the living universe, which is everything, which is the all, the own. So the key, these are the first three keys, and it struck me, it was like, yeah, let's go back to the first three because I don't think they got that. Let's be real. All right. The many in the one is key. Why is it key? These keys, the first three keys in the Enoch was programmed these keys into me to explain that we are part of an open-ended universe. Open-ended, meaning no ending, no ceiling. There's always another phase. It's a continual evolution. Spiritual.
Even though they try to make you feel you boxed in.
Right. Nothing to make you feel you boxed. Right. Go ahead,
all the stuff where as far as being controlled, you know what I'm saying, is like, you know, you got to do this, you got to pay that, you have to do this to get able to get that. Those are devices that go ahead and control anything that's controlling your mind, like television, the programming.
And that control represents entropy, the boxing in, the controlling of thought and emotion, the making you feel a certain way by seeing something, hearing something, the trauma. Does that make sense?
It's about freeing your mind.
Freeing you up. Okay, so if you look at the first three keys, we see that in the many in the one, there is a relationship of universe to universe, universe to the many universes. By seeing the universe to universe and the universe to the many universes, we see the overall plan of development as requiring of a higher mind, which we all have. This is that centropy again. When we start thinking higher spiritual essences, other worlds, other cosmic existence, it opens up the mind off of what's going on in the flesh.
How does one get there?
What'd you say?
I said, how would one get there?
By turning away, meditating, having discipline, saying no to what looks good, feels good, tastes good, sounds good, fasting, reading, meditating, praying, everything that you ain't doing right now. Turning off the television and just sitting quietly for 30, 40 minutes in your house Just relaxing, listening to yourselves. That's what
Mm-hmm.
knowledge of self is. Knowledge of selves.
Not
Every
just
cell in you
cells.
wants to talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, this is what we need. We need a little more light here on, down here by the heart chakra. We need that green energy. We need just a little bit. Hit us with it. And when you meditate, you can talk to yourself. Remember, everything, your nightmares is all you.
Mm-hmm.
That's opening you up. That's freeing you up. Why does that free you up? Because you ain't shouldn't be afraid of you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're afraid of you, I don't know what to tell you.
That's kind
That's
of
a
like what
whole nother game.
that's kind of like what the Sandman was about. When you watch that, it showed you that you were in control even in your dreams, man. That
Because it's you teaching you. It's a higher you trying to train a lower you in this meat suit that thinks it's jazzy, that thinks it has to eat and sleep and do everything everybody else does down here because that's the way it's done. I defy that. I need
and
less
you
sleep. I need less food, if any food at all. What I do need is fruit, water to be sustained. That and some sunlight
you
and my
know that
meditation. And
and
I'm
you know
good.
what and that comes with learning how to optimize time.
Time. Now you get down from the cross of space and time because your mind has now opened back up to the original you. You have remembered parts of who you are in your infinite and eternal state.
Mhm.
That's being open ended.
Hey,
Now you are truly in a world and not of it. You don't
you
think
know,
like everybody else think. You don't see what everybody else see. You don't feel like everybody. You don't smell what everyone else smells. Nothing is the same. Go ahead,
hey,
Jazzy.
I I just thought about something when we was talking about time. There's a few people that I've seen in my lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
It's more than a few, but normally a lot of older people. They don't even have to have a watch on, and everything that they do is like clockwork.
You got to
They,
remember, timing, perfect timing is spiritual. It's not thought of. Oh, I have to be here. It's an automatic thing. I don't use an alarm clock. I'm gonna wake up at a certain time every single day, regardless if I can sleep in or not. I'm still gonna wake up around that time.
because you know what's happening? You're controlling everything around you. Then you see what I'm saying? If you're saying, you know what, I'm gonna wake up at this time. I'm controlling everything in my life, whether it's distractions, whether things I have to do, or whatever. I am in control of that. I set that time.
But see, you have to have the peace in your life. You can't have a nagging woman or a nagging wife. You
I
can't have
say,
a baby mama or two or a baby daddy or two. You can't, your job got to be stable. Your housing got to be stable. Your money got to be right. Think about it. It takes a lot.
mhm.
Don't get it twisted, y'all,
But you know
for
what?
this
And then,
spiritual thing to happen. But once it happens, it takes care of all that bullshit.
and it
You won't
all
need to
starts.
worry about it.
You know what? It all starts with saying no.
Fact.
Yo, bro. Yo,
No.
bro.
The
No.
power of no.
Just no. That's so
And
strong.
and let's not get it twisted. No to what looks good, feels good,
Feels
tastes good,
good, tastes
sounds
good,
good,
sounds
smells
good.
good.
Hmm.
No that what ain't good for you in your spirit. No that ain't good for your mental health.
Hmm.
Say no to all that.
Hmm.
Start asking the spirit what's going on. But see, then most people ain't in the spirit. They don't trust the spirit. Spirit talks to them every day. The cells talk to them every day. They don't want to hear it.
Hey, but how do
Cells be
they
like,
talk
no,
to
you're not going. Don't eat that meat.
him?
In fact, give me 7 days of no meat eating.
Hmm.
That's what your spirit, that's what your soul or your cells will talk to you and say. You don't know
And
why. All you think of it is it's something against you because you like eating meat. You like it. You desire it. Looks good, feels good, tastes good, sounds good, smells good. It's boxing you in. You cannot be open ended in a box. You must expand to a circle.
just like, somebody that, okay, they know pork is not good for them, right?
Uh,
And I'm not. you do as you want. I'm not telling anybody how to live, how to eat, whatever, but it ain't good for you. And then you know what? It's still calling you because pork is so sweet. That's like the sweetest
You
meat.
know what it is? I'm gonna be real. You know what it is? It's the body, and you're used to it. Whatever you're used to, you like.
Mhm.
Desi says, "I ain't ate no meat in 25 days." What's good, Desi Lou?
That's what's up, Miss Desi.
What's good? Hey, come on, girl. If you can come on with the come on. You already
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
But
Hit
yeah,
the
we're
link.
talking about being boxed in, how your emotions can box you in, how the way things you like, the things you feel intensive about, how you have to have it. A new house, a new car, a new pair of sneakers, a new this, boxing you in, trying
Mhm.
to get free. It's like you got to unlearn that stuff.
I
But
can't read what she's typing. Can you read it?
yeah, it says at the job currently, so she
Oh,
can't
okay.
come in. She in there. In
Okay.
spirit, we hear you, girl. So we talking about the one, many and the one being open ended. Let me keep going. So the knowledge of the living mind, this living mind is in our mind. It is a part of us. So everything we're talking about right now is in us. This open endedness, this infinite and eternal. All this is a part of us that's in us. We don't know it's in us. Why? Because we cannot fathom it through the belief system or the religious system that most of us has been introduced to. Let me keep going. The knowledge of the living mind, and this is just knowledge, just knowing that the living mind exists, Jazzy. Because if you know it exists, you know it exists within you. Automatic download.
Mhm.
Knowledge of the living mind comes after the living mind becomes open ended. So once our mind becomes open ended, now we know there's a mind beyond our mind that we're tapping into. That's that infinite and the eternal again, that everlasting energy. All right. The scroll starts with an open ended cosmology rather than a closed ended cosmology. We are we for where to say in the first key that the creative mind as the center of his universe is known as the Lord King Redeemer, it would put all galaxies in a singular universe. And man, starting off with his own three-dimensional concept of God, would limit God to its universe. So he's trying to say, when we come out, we limit everything to what we see, hear, smell, taste, and feel, what we
Mhm.
can observe. Everything is categorized in that box, even though we know we can think outside in the mind, in the spirit, in the soul. These things exist without being able to be seen, but we still know that they exist. But they're telling us, no, you only focus on what looks good, feels good, tastes good, sounds good, smells good. And that
And
will
how
limit
do
us even into our consciousness. We're boxed in a box of infinite.
how
uh, Ms.
how do
Desi,
you know they how do you know they exist?
right?
How do you know
How do you know
they exist?
what exists?
All of the things that you just said by
Oh,
being boxed in. How do you know?
well, you got to know it's an internal thing. It's not going to be something that's going to be with your five senses.
Mhm.
Now you got to use your inner senses for inner spiritual energy that comes at you. So this
Mhm.
means your inner transducers or your inner glands for inner spiritual energy have to be working.
Mhm.
Your pineal gland, your pituitary gland, and your hippocampus. Those are your three wise men. Your
Mhm.
spiritual wise men that connect you to higher activity non-locally.
Mhm.
So meaning not from here, from anywhere in the space, because it's a spiritual download. All right. So check it out. It goes on to say, when you can see the many as well as the one, you can recognize that the most perfect plurality is also the most perfect unity. When everything is working as one, it looked like it manifests its own energy, like you can't even see it. When you really look at nature and try just to see it for what it is, the sunrise, the moonset, it rains, you have
The
dry
wind
areas,
blow.
wet areas, how everything works together, it's a perfect unity. It's so perfect that you think that it runs off itself, that there's no conscious element behind making it happen.
You know what? Even like in Panama where you live, it's
Uh-huh.
still it's still working in perfect unity because it rains
It's
half the
just a
year.
different balance.
It rains half the year but then it doesn't rain the next half of the year.
6 months
You
it's
got,
gonna rain every day at the same time. For the next 6 months, it ain't gonna get a stitch of rain. I was there. I seen it.
but it's balance.
Balance. The fields would burn, and when they first burn, we Americanized. We thinking, why y'all just go? Who are they? Fire department gonna come and put it out? What are they gonna do? Oh no, they just burn off, turn into ash. Once it starts raining, they'll be full green back for harvest next year. I'm over there like, wow, balance. If
They
you let
know.
the Mother Earth do what she do, we good. But no, we have a species on the planet that must try to take over everything and control everything and destroy everything. But that's by design because we're coming to the end anyway. All this shit is about to be recycled. So let's keep going saying that. When you see the many as well as the one, you recognize the most perfect plurality is the most perfect unity. By going into the splendor of the universes, plural, you recognize a higher plan of creation that can be seen in this universe at this level of creation. Once your mind becomes open-ended, you can start to touch. Remember, I always tell you that there's a plan. The creator has a plan. This plan is perfect. You can see the plan. Oh, this is the plan. Oh, this is why you got worlds like, oh, this is why this happens. Oh, I didn't know everyone was guaranteed safety. You see what I'm saying? You start to see the whole plan because everything runs off of what? Love radiation. And once you can touch some of that love radiation and start to use it on your own and give it out to others, now you become a part of the love radiation. You become a part of the infinite and the eternal. You become a part of the many and the one. Your mind has been open-ended. Now you can get mind expansion into other spiritual realms, other zones of self. Let me
This
keep
where it comes
going.
to
Go ahead.
thinking
Outside the
outside the
box.
bio.
In fact, you've thought so far outside the box, you have now reversed the squaring of the circle. You've took yourself from a place of entropy, of decay and death into a place of centropy, of light and everlasting light. For God, okay, you can understand, then you can understand that one must go beyond all theologies and all cosmologies or cosmologies which say that God is here on this level of creation. For God, the all eternal, the infinite and eternal, is not here nor there. Because why? Because he is seen in all universes. Why? Because he's beyond all images. We are representations of the infinite and the eternal, pieces of it. Once we get back to our source, once we remember who we are. Therefore, you must recognize all universes in order to see the creator, God, the infinite one. He cannot be seen, or she cannot be seen, or it cannot be seen in the image of your creative universe, for it is beyond all images, open-ended. Any image you can think about, you thinking wrong if you're thinking about the almighty everything of everything, because it's beyond all image. Every image is a representation of it.
That's powerful.
And you are a representation of it. No matter what life you live in, no matter where you at right now, no matter what's going on, you are a representation of it. The more you remember that you are, the more easier and more available the gifts of the spirit, and the spirit can come into you and do what it needs to do for you. You ain't got to go through no preacher. You ain't got to go through no therapist. You ain't got to go through no teacher. Mom and dad can't help you. This is you with you. If
That's
that
the
ain't good
truth.
news, I don't know what is. Go ahead, Jazzy.
No, I'm just saying that's very powerful. I hope people hear that. You know what I'm saying? It's beyond your images. Anything that you can go ahead and picture in
And
your
thank
mind
you.
is beyond that.
Beyond that, take that to the next level, times 10. And
And
then it's
then
beyond
again,
that.
yeah.
So we're
Hey,
talking about a true no ceiling, a truly being open-minded, a truly being touching the infinite and eternal. Openness. So you can take this stuff in. So can the conceptual form of the planetary mind, meaning us in the physical form, be so vain to suppose that the universe does not exist beyond the scope of its three-dimensional matter energy body? Meaning like this earth and the stuff that we see, the little planets that we can't go to. Can't even go to the
That's
moon. And we got the
nobody's
nerve to
ever
talk
been there.
about what the universe is. The
Cause
universe
yeah,
which surrounds us is full of love powered immunizations and love thresholds into which man, the son of man, capital L man, conscious man, will evolve as life begets life and eternal life. Once again, the squaring of a circle, this decay, this death we in, is surrounded by centropy, everlasting life. Once you leave the square, this light, this entropy, the square of the circle, because a square has 360 degrees. So does a circle. But a circle is a perfect geometrical
geometric.
geometric form of energy and energy conservation and energy going to the next level, to the vortex. 360 turns into 720 that turns into 1180. But the squaring of a circle is the trapping of energy, the trapping of thought, the trapping of emotion.
That's what's been happening to us.
That's where we've been. And now we are becoming open ended again. We're saying all this spiritual stuff is dropping. No, it ain't dropping. It's already been there.
Mm.
We are just being able to communicate and get with it now.
But you know what? Once you tap into that, then the sneakers don't matter.
Say it
The,
again.
the going out don't matter.
Clubs don't matter.
The,
Putting
the
on shiny
drinking,
clothes, shiny shoes for other people don't matter. Where you live don't matter.
those are
What your
devices to
job
keep you
is don't
trapped
matter.
here. Those things are the things that get you trapped in here.
Because now you know, remember, you're starting to see other worlds, Jazzy, in other realms that have nothing to do with this
Sure.
realm.
I mean, and if once you start to tap in, you look back and you're like, man, was I really on that?
What's what did
Wow.
Mr. Grooveology say? Now I can't. I'm not even that same person. I don't even know that nigga you talking about. When you're talking about the past tense, I don't even know who he is. So I don't know what to tell you. That's how
Could
it
be.
works.
Could be true, could not be true. I don't know because you don't
I
know that person anymore.
don't know that person anymore. I don't act like that. I don't function in that realm.
Mm.
Open ended, infinite and eternal. Once you scratch that energy, remember I was telling you, there's no way anyone can drain any amount of energy from me because of the energy that I use.
Tapped in the source.
I'm into the source, baby. You can't drain this. If you do, you only get some shit you don't want because this is too potent. Gone, drain the little babies. You know what I'm saying? The little kids. Don't come for this grown energy. You ain't ready for this. You ain't ready for this. Trust me.
Mm-hmm.
That's like tapping into that, putting that fork into the electric shock. Oh, the body wasn't ready for it. It wasn't ready for it.
Right.
I mean, this is a progression. That's why the spiritual realm has to be approached through consciousness, through awareness, and through love.
You know what? And when you start to walk in that aspect of life, you start to form and change things.
Everything changes.
And then
Everything.
people look at you and like, how do you do that? And it's not nothing that you can just go ahead and
I
it's just
told you
something that you
before, people used to get mad at me because they said I was just too happy. There's no way I could just be happy every day, wake up happy. And I say, bullshit. What I got to be mad about? That's
hey,
what fucks somebody. Then I even asked them, what you got to be mad about? Well,
that
I ain't
part.
got. Do you have a car? Yes. It ain't the best. Do you have somewhere to stay? Yes. Do you have clothes on your back? Yes. Have you eaten today? Yes. The fuck are we talking about?
Right.
What are we talking about?
Just because you may have had lobster and I had Chick-fil-A, is that
Or
so
I had
what?
Burger King, a nigga dollar burger. Did I eat? Do I got clothes on my back?
Right. People they put a price. Oh, I ate at such and such
We
today.
have been boxed in to this economic climate of more is better. When more
Hey,
is worse.
That's what like when I was telling you about when I was listening to Seven Bomar, then he was like, you want to be light, but you got to get light, and you have to wait because you're carrying too much weight. So it's just like you have to, you can't go back in. And he was like, the only way you could exit out of this spiritual existence is like, a new birth, so, and it's just like how you came in, you can't go back that way because you weigh too much. Everything is way too much. You can't go back that way.
There
So
is no back. Once you are shown the light and you can look back if you want. All there's going to be is darkness because you
Mhm,
know now. You
and
can't
then
turn knowing back into belief. You can't do
mhm,
it. It don't work like that.
once
Once
you
you know, you know.
once you put those glasses on,
and
the
they're only
universe.
and guess what? They only fit you. And once you put them on, you can't take them off.
That's where it gets like when they now it makes even more sense when they say it's easy for a rich man to enter the how the eye of the
Uh,
needle. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
it's easier for the rich man to enter the eye of a needle for him to pass through the gates of heaven.
You know
Why?
how small because
But why?
he
Why is that?
carrying too much baggage.
He's trying to take all his riches, nigga, with him.
Hey,
And you ain't
bag
taking none.
lady, bag lady, who's gonna carry your bag?
Carrying everything with you. And none of
Hey,
that shit means anything.
you know what? You still have to say no. That's the way you
No to the
no.
bags, no to the baggage, no to attachments. That's the problem. It's attachments because you can be attached to anything. Could
I
be a
can't see
shirt, could
that.
be a car, could be a person. It says you got to study. The magic is hidden you. Facts, Desi.
Mhm.
So I mean, you got to say no to all this stuff. Looks good, feels good, tastes good, sounds good, smells good. I can't say it enough.
You
You
have
have
to
to make
weigh.
time for the inner you. And what it's going to do, it's going to take away from all the energy you were putting on in this bullshit, watching your favorite show, going to the club, spending all your money. For the price of two fucking drinks, you could have bought a whole bottle and drank it home.
At home. Make it make sense. Hey,
I mean, like,
that's what I tell people now. They're like, man, you don't go here, you don't go there. It's just like, you know why? Because when me and my family get together, we all chip in, we go ahead. You ain't gotta worry about no outside influence about anything. You know what? It's just love and family. And that's a whole lot more important than me going and hanging out with this person, that person, going here, going there to see this, seeing that. Man, I enjoy, like, they asked me next my birthday next month. They was like, what you want to do? What you want to do? And I was like, if I'm not doing a show, all I want to do is just be with y'all. You know what I'm
there it
saying?
is.
So, my sister, excellent cook, go ahead, put the food. She got the big back. You know what I'm saying? We go there, we just chill, play games, laugh. That's all I desire, to be with you know what I'm saying? I really don't care about everything else.
Like I said, the world loses a little of its luster, its
Mhm.
bling bling, its glimmer, its alluredness. Because
Mhm.
now you're into things that are bigger and better and stronger than the things that this world has to offer, the stuff that it has to offer. We
And
know
then,
firsthand that the spiritual blessings are invaluable, priceless. You
just
can't put a price on
like you were saying, how much you spent for drinks. Look, I could buy a whole bottle. All of us can drink. We could all have a good time. And then
food. Look, food.
food.
What you
Eh,
spend on your little $20 menu, you could have been bought a steak or two and had some nice hors d'oeuvres or something.
then if I have too much to drink, like say last Saturday, my sisters and they said, "Man, you thought it was your birthday." My sister told me and my other sister that we thought it was our birthday because we partied. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
we started up.
And then you know what? I went to her house. You know what I'm saying? They took my keys. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't got to go nowhere. What more value? What more better time in life to go ahead and then to do that than to be out here in the streets? You know what I'm saying? Streets ain't got nothing for me. Not like that.
Well, you know. A lot of people fight the trauma of, the household wasn't that great that they grew up with, so the streets is all they know. But that inner pull that's happening into us, this opening up of the mind and the spirit, the mental expansion, it's slowly drawing them for things other than what looks good, feels good, tastes good. That horror of wantingness. Don't be beguiled by her, nigga. That's a
Hey,
bitch, nigga. That wantingness, she'll have you the very thing you want. She'll give you so much of it that it won't even have any flavor no more. The salt will be gone of it. The shine, it'll just be dull. You get it all you want. You don't even want it no more. Wantingness. That's in my book, Cosmic Awareness.
that's
The
that's the that's the desire, and that's what I learned. Like, and from Sandman too. Like, even that he was controlling the dream world. He had brothers and sisters, right? And then
all
one of
over the place.
and then like desire was you couldn't tell if it was a man or woman because it's desire. It didn't have its own shape. It was
And
just an
what did
entity.
desire want? Everything.
And
Everything.
it went against his own brother, which was
Yeah,
the dream. The
yeah.
dream.
They
So
want
you know what I'm
everything.
saying?
Everything. Desire. Everything. All the time. Every second. That's what happens when a poor man in the mind becomes rich in the world. He gets all that bullshit, ends up killing himself.
For desire. You froze, mental. Well, he'll be back. But yes, if any of y'all haven't seen The Sandman, watch it. It's
Oh, and
so
we back.
powerful. Okay. I was just telling them if they didn't see The Sandman to watch it because, and then they had The Dream, which had a sister, and the sister was death.
Yes.
So it just shows you the caliber, the calibers that
What it's
each one of
showing
them.
you is that everyone has a role to play, a spot to fill. Everybody. And
and
we're gonna
and
let
they,
you be conscious and have a will. So desire wanted everything. She's always in everybody's business, fucking people shit up.
everybody in there served their purpose. Even
Yep.
like when the dream he had went away for like years and years and years. He wasn't part
For
doing
that
his dream.
century, for 100 years.
Yeah, he was kept going back meeting that man. So in that time, he lost a lot of the because he used to be just strict, just like this. And then he met that young black woman, with that melanin that can go ahead and be like, "I'm here, and ain't nothing you can do about it." Yo,
The
she's
only
like,
one that stuck with him.
"No, not that one. Yeah, the girl, the
Yeah,
one
the
that
dark
stuck with."
skinned girl that was in the
Oh
lot when he came back. It was like, yeah, this is what happened.
no, not the librarian.
Oh.
The girl that the vortex.
Oh.
She was able to go in her dream and walk, and then she was like, "You can't control me. I'm here. I'll
Mhm.
come
No,
back, and
I know what
I,
time it is. This
I'll
dream
see
is
you."
over. And she snapped her wrist and woke up. But it's showing
She's like,
mastery
she
itself.
said,
She
she
didn't know who
said,
she was before, but once she knew, she said, wait a minute, if I'm the vortex, I control all this shit.
she
Yeah,
said,
I'm
"This
out
is
of here, man.
over."
Leave my people alone. I don't want to see you. You don't see me. I'm out.
You see what I'm saying? You see the power she has? She's like, "You will not. No, you will not." And this
But
dream is
guess
over.
what? Once again, before she knew she was open ended, when she was trapped in a cube, she didn't have
Mhm.
no power.
Right, right, right. She was
But
she
once
was
she realized
powerful.
she was open ended, that her energy came from beyond and she could feel it, and she'd been feeling it all that time, she just
Mhm.
didn't know.
Yo, they in that movie. I ain't trying to get off the subject, but they also like when they had the Satan, the devil. They had
Uh-huh.
her as the woman, and then when he went
He
there to
was
go
the
get,
kindest devil ever that
man,
related to all the people. Brought him in. Oh, it's my time. Oh no, she'd be like, it's okay. And she at first she used to say, I thought this was the worst job ever. Then I realized I wasn't alone.
no,
I was
that
with
was
them.
death. That was death.
That.
Yeah, that was death.
Oh, which
Talking
one?
about we'll get back to her, but the devil was the one that was in black in
Oh
hell.
yeah, they played that
Okay.
game. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and then they played the game, the spiritual game, and then he got off, and then she was like, "What can go ahead and kill your this, that, or whatever, and then
He
your
said,
dreams and
what is a universe? And she
hope.
said, the anti-universe. And
And
he
then he
said,
said,
what is more powerful than the crushing power of the end? And he said, hope.
hope.
Gotcha.
Checkmate.
Mate.
Yo.
And then he said, what is
Yo.
more powerful than hope? Someone that has nothing can still hope.
How? Yes. She had to let him go. It
He
was
won,
nothing.
yeah.
She couldn't contain him. You see what I'm saying? But the one that you was talking about was death, where
Yeah.
she just went ahead and then why that's what I was started off with. Why
And,
the dream was in his little thing and they were sitting on a bench. Then they got up and started walking, and
uh,
she was still doing her
her
job,
job. He said, you want to come with me? Come
and
on.
she walked around and gave everybody their time to go. You know what I'm saying? She
But
didn't.
she
And
made it
then,
seem she took it away from, oh, the devil coming, bring your ass, nigga, to
mm-hmm,
more or less, oh, it's your time. Come on, you're all
mm-hmm,
right. Don't worry.
mm-hmm,
We're moving
mm-hmm,
to the next room. And that is more equivalent to what death would be than the Grim Reaper coming to get your ass. Only
mm-hmm.
reason you're afraid is because you've been programmed in the
Programmed.
box of fear.
Mhm, mhm,
Fear is in the cube.
mhm,
Envy, jealousy, hate
mhm,
in the cube.
mhm. When you got to look at the entities and and what their jobs was, even like at the end of hers, what she said, I'll be doing this job until I have to go ahead and death be no more, and then I'll lock the gates.
So there's no more death. So she recognizes there's a state where this doesn't even have to happen. I'm just a person, just over this. Once again, cube, death, centropy, locked around centropy. Entropy, the cube, locked around centropy, the circle, everlasting life. We're trying to get back to the circle,
Mhm. Then what
breaking
she
out of the
said,
cube. What looks good, feels good, tastes good, sounds good, smells good. Keeps our
and
focus in here.
you know what she said? She said when life was created, so was she. She was like, that was the balance. It was
When
just
life was
like,
created, I was created. There can be no life in the physical realm without death. Entropy requires it.
mm,
It is a central theme of entropy, death. Why entropy? Because outside of entropy, everything is everlasting. Once again, you come down here in these realms to experience what it feels like to die, even though you really never die. It's just a physical death, but it feels real enough. All right, listen to this. So, grasp not at the spiritual inversions of light into matter or life into death, but awaken your vision with the light and love and the grace of humanity before the one of the eternal peace. The second key is saying that the creative mind exists not only as a Lord, a Redeemer, a King, a Messiah, that we are.
mhm,
It means that the mind itself does not have to become incarnated to act as a king or a redeemer, meaning the mind doesn't have to take on flesh.
mhm,
Why does it have to when it can go through us? It can and it has through us, but it doesn't have to. It can just
mhm,
program us where we're at. The mind can stay where it's at, where it is, and program a redeemer, a messiah, you and me, into any teaching of the light, capital L conscious light. The mind can stay where it is and program into any master, such as Osiris, or the king, Uawave, the southern energies. The mind can stay where it is and program the Adonai, the Lord, into many universes, into many galaxies, into many life stations. So it's saying once your mind becomes open-ended, you now get privy to this programming. All right. This higher evolution, those programs are downloads,
mhm.
energy downloads for you to know, for you to see. Another thing was talking about the more you get these spiritual downloads, you still have to have a healthy physical body to get to the next realm with this energy, because it's going to cause our blood pressure to be higher. So it's going to put pressure on our organs. This is why Bobby Hemmett had a stroke. He was so spiritually high, the body he was in couldn't take it anymore. Could say the same for Brother Panic. You know, something, this body's getting weak and old. I'm just gonna go ahead and leave this motherfucker. Fuck that shit. I ain't about to go through no stroke and all that bullshit. Just go take a nigga out.
Mm.
So all these things are about being open-ended. All these things are about knowing
They
the
went willingly.
whole. Willingly, yes. Letting the infinite and the eternal, letting the infinite mind and the eternal mind program you so you know what's going on.
Man, you know
Tells
they
you to
call
be
you.
fit.
What's the first thing that once you start to say no and to go ahead and get to a point where you getting to a different level, you know what the first thing I'll say? Man, you acting funny. You know what I'm saying? You ain't down no more. You ain't cool.
You
Those are
acting
things.
fun.
You acting.
Key.
That's a you
First
acting
thing they
funny,
gonna say.
and it's because you chose to go ahead and choose you first over everything else. Is that truly acting funny?
Well, now you are, because before you chose them. You chose what looks good, feels good, tastes good, sounds good. Now you don't choose that. And to everyone else, why don't he go to the club no more? He don't even like going shopping no more. Why don't he do this no more? Yeah, there's none of that interests me now. Now I'm about my
I,
father's business. That's what Yahshua said. I'm about my father's business. What is that? Knowing who the fuck I am. Understanding who I am.
Mhm.
Okay? So I'm reprogramming my mind. Reprogramming this higher entity, this infinite mind, this eternal mind back into mine so I can remember what I forgot.
But how
Understand
you
that
get
I've been
there?
here, done there, done that.
How you get there?
Through meditation, through turning away from television, through being alone 30 minutes a day. Wake up and just be by yourself and just focus and think about things.
And
Concentrate.
also, for those that don't understand, that
Read.
read sign, those ones that need sign language, no.
Yes, and start knowing. Stop thinking and know. With
Yeah.
knowing, the thinking process is suspended. All right. That's why you can't know and believe at the same time. To believe, you got to think about what you believe. To know is to know automatically.
Mm.
Let me keep going. So we just said how the mind can stay where it is and be programmed into any Lord, you, any Lord of light, any person, any mind. The Messiah is where the redemptive energies of the body of capital L light are manifested. So when it's manifested in you, you are the Messiah. This ain't coming from me. It's coming from the book. I'm just reading it out of the book. But it's key for us to know these things. When you are when it's manifested, the redemptive energies in you are manifested within you. You are a part of the collective Messiah. The collective Messiah unifies all physical universes that interpenetrate this physical plane and those beyond on other frequencies of light. Remember, I told you we're just in the middle. There's one right above us, 10 above us, and 10 below us. All of us functioning on the same type parameter. The many in the one in the many. Open-ended. There's a version of you that can do anything. It's just waiting for you to realize it. When you see then that if man is to work with the creative mind, he must comprehend that the creative mind, capital L mind, conscious mind, as something beyond an anthropomorphic image of three-dimensional God. In other words, a three-dimensional person or entity or
3D,
something you can see, taste, smell, beyond all that. All
3D.
right. The mind is beyond an anthropomorphic image of three-dimensional God form, even beyond the light, capital L, conscious form of light of the Adam Cadman, even beyond the Masonic form of the Melchizedek, capital M in both, consciousness. The creative mind of Ethe Asher Ethe, the I am that I am, or I shall be that I shall be, is a constant evolving, is a constant evolving, a constant remaking of every order of creation. So we are either getting better or we getting worse.
What's so powerful about the whole thing too? As you said, the constant creation. You know what I'm saying? So
Constant evolving and a constant remaking
every
of
time you're
every order of creation. Not just some,
that
not just a few.
the
Of
mind.
The mind. Because what is the mind? The creative mind, where all this creation comes from. This deep inner you. If we are to participate in the ongoing biocosmic evolution of continuity and change within the creative continuum of the higher evolution, we must release ourselves from all vain endeavors in order to quicken the establishment of what the infinite mind establishment of it here in the physical realm. Meaning it's not a physical entity. It cannot be of the physical realm. It can only be of the mind.
Anytime you say
Revolution.
physical,
What does it mean? What is the message? That's why the revolution will not be televised. It all makes sense.
that
It all makes sense.
was a very creative piece right there. Whoever came up with that.
Spirit
The,
did. I just made it up from what I read,
no, I'm
piecing
talking
it back
about
together.
the. No, I'm talking about the revolution will not be televised.
The
It's
revolution will
just
not be televised. It is going to
whoever
be a
can,
spiritual mental downswing. Some are
whoever can.
just going to start to know. Others will not know. They will still be in belief. And the ones that know will know they know and know that others know. But the ones
I
that
was
don't know will not know.
I was watching this movie. I've been trying to put in spiritual movies, so it's this one I'm watching. I got to go back finish it. This guy, he said a man from it's called a man from something, and this guy he's a teacher in college, and he's breaking down, and then they're talking religion, and then he's going over Buddha and the things, and then somebody, and then it was like believing. And then he was like, because there was one guy who was a Christian, one was like she believed in AIDS and like Buddha. And then it was a
Mm-hmm.
class full of people. But basically, he was saying that one of the Christians said, "Well, it's just like this, that, or whatever." And then they said, "Well, it's not a fact." And then he said, "It is to a fact." But he said, "Well, how do you know it's a fact?"
Uh-oh.
He said, because what you're believing, you can't put your belief as facts. And then he's like, well, I can go to where it's written this, then he said, well, with you believing that it's a fact, you had to have faith, and that faith was your imaginary feeling of going ahead and, picturing it in your mind, basically,
No, I take
that
that,
it is
take that.
so.
You had to have belief
Mhm,
because there's evidence in faith.
mhm.
There's no evidence in belief.
Right.
See,
I may
people
have
do
said
that.
it
They mix
wrong.
up. No, people mix up faith and belief all the time.
Hmm.
Don't tell me you got faith because then I'm going to say, show me your belief. Show me the evidence of things
It
not
might have been
seen.
that. It may have been that way. But the piece that, that he was basically saying is that you had to put your mind to go ahead and believe that, to go ahead and get to that point to make it a fact for yourself. You see what I'm saying? So
I know exactly what you're saying.
however you was programmed,
And
whatever
and only
background
thing
you
I
came
would
from.
tell him if he said that to me is, oh no, sir, I know now. I have evidence that things have not seen by you or others that the spirit has shown me. I have the spirit of truth that has talked to me and
Mhm.
brought together pieces of knowledge and the different things I read, missing information to make it whole. Oh no, bro, I know now. I know scientifically through melanin, through the dark
See,
germ. Okay, I know, I know why you have blue eyes and blind hair. The blue eyes is just because we looking through the capillaries through your eyes. You don't have a coat of melanin, a
Mhm,
protection over your eyes, so when you can
mhm,
look at the sun.
mhm.
See, so I come from a realm of knowing. So
See, and
everything.
that's the
Well,
whole
go ahead.
point. That's the whole point. You have to know for yourself. You can't go off of what somebody else said. You
And
have
no
to
one can tell
know.
you anything after that. I don't care if you know. You know. You really
I'd
don't
rather
have to
some.
explain knowing.
I'd rather somebody say, "Look, I listen, man. With everything I am, I'm gonna tell you I know this to be true." Than to go ahead for somebody else to go ahead. Well, I read it in a book that this. No, but did you
Well,
experience? what natural
This
experience
is
did
what
you
kills me
have to know?
when you point out something to someone in their language, in their book. Oh wow, I didn't know that was even there. I'm gonna have to. Well, I'm gonna have to go check that out, man. Check that out. Boom, 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 boom. Then you
Mhm,
talk to him again. Did you ever go check it out? Yeah, I read it, but
mhm,
exactly,
mhm,
exactly.
mhm.
You know. So, like we said before, everybody don't want to know truth. It's too
That
difficult for
part.
some. All right. So, what does this key say? Saying that, being open ended. Moving on. What's up, Candia? Blessings King, talking about being open ended, your mind going through other realms, all that goodness. So, getting to the end. So, the third key tells us that creations that survive must desire more than eternal life. They must also gather light, capital L, light, conscious light
Mhm.
of the living, because on the frequency of light is determined the next threshold within the biochemical evolution. Light is the immunization of the divine love that desires to serve all manners of creation that serve the living light. So here we go again. What creations have to survive that must gather eternal life? All of us. Because if we're doing our job right, we're gathering eternal life and love, and we're spitting it back out on this world, keeping that balance from the darkness, right? And gathering of light of the living, not the light of death. What is this light of the living? This is that conscious light. This is that spiritual energy. This is that infinite and eternal. This is that open ended mind. This is that mind expansion. Light of the living. It's why you meditate, concentrate, pray. Light of the living. Anytime you're thinking of something positive, loving, strengthening, loving, whole, light of the living. All
Mhm.
right. Moreover, within the frequency of light is determined astrochemical parameters as the width and dimensions on the size of a galaxy. So basically, what it's saying is how you live your life down here will determine where you're going in your next realm. How you live the love and light down here will determine how high or low you go to the next realm. What you still need. Will you even come up off the physical? Will you stay in the physical? Depending on how you use your higher light and love down here. So it says the semitude in the image making capacity is an open ended, just as the universe is open ended. All right. For it, if you look at the original Hebrew scripts, you find that man is made into the image and semitude. Into indicates an evolution is a continual and gathering of light. There is no stop learning. There is no stop in gathering light. As long as we're down here, we should be getting stronger, better, more bright. It says just blesses up Kings Candia.
Oh, okay.
All right. Into and in a continuing and gathering of light. But why image and semitude? It is because image is not enough. Image will die with the creative patterns of life. As entropy goes through, image will die. Okay. What we need is semitude, right? Semitude of the space time continuum of light, your conscious light, to regenerate that image. This is why man of light, the Adam Cadman, is incarnated into the image of the Adamic species, not a butterfly, not a horse, not a spider, not an insect, but a black man, not a white man, not a Chinese man, a man with melanin. So technically, that could be any of them, but a person with melanin. But all creatures have the desire, depending on how you use your love and light, how you manifest to move on past this realm. Whether you white, black, it don't matter. All right. This is why the Adamic species of light continuously reincarnates in the image of the Adamic species and not a lower image. Without the semitude, the synchronicities of the incarnation repeating the light functions and the light frequencies, the image would be here and die like a flash of light in the darkness. So basically, if we didn't have the continuing light program, something that is not of this body that we are of, that makes us us, we come into the body with our personality. The body functions according to our spirit. That's why some of us are fat, some of us are thin, some of us have diabetes, some of us don't, some of us are sickly, some of us aren't, all depending on your sin and what you need for your mental conditioning. Because you can have anybody you want. It's all to change your mind. Okay, let's keep going. Without the semitude, the synchronicities of the incarnation repeating the light functions and the light frequencies, the light would be here and die like a flash in the darkness. But the semitude holds the consistency of light so that other evolutions can come into its image and feed off its image. Like you fed off your parents, they fed off their parents. You have a long legacy of energy that follows behind you in the generations. That's all your energy right now. For we are not in the image of the world, but in the image of higher evolution. We are not in the semitude of the world, but a semitude of higher evolution. The key goes on to say that higher evolution, which is an immunization, a projection of the living universe, is a part of the universal mind, which can be here as well as any other universe at the same time. Okay, how can this be? There can be multiple incarnations of higher creation. There can be multiple programming through light manifestations without physical form. This is when I told you we were already here in spiritual form before there was a physical. The earth was here in a spiritual form before there was a physical earth. All right? We think that this physical realm has to be the end and all. It has to be. It does not. It's the lowest. It's part of the heavens, just the lowest. Why can this be? Light is both image and semitude. It is both the image and the pattern of the image of consciousness. It is both consciousness and awareness. Light is also both energy and matter. It is both the entropy that we establish that we're in and the centropy. It is both. It is everything in this realm. It's the squaring of the circle.
Image
Taking a
reflecting
perfect
light.
realm of light and breaking it down to make it things die. Go ahead, Jazzy.
I was saying images reflecting light when you was talking.
They give us to the realm of objects in the physical realm. So, what does it say? This is the last little bit. The scroll speaks of the depth which is involved in the speaking of the many and the one universe, or the many and the one-minded, being open-minded. The brothers and sisters who praise the creators resounds throughout the many universes, the many heavens. Know thee that your faith has been cherished by the host of the heavens, who stand ready with the light energy of redemption, who are swift in their delivery of justice with the swiftness of fire. For those host energies are the networks of salvation. The electromagnetic energy circuits set into place around the earth to prepare for the computing of our light spectrum conversion. So here is the key. This is us. The species of light that have remained intact throughout these ages of darkness, because they are invincible projections of divine creation that withstand negative fields of desolation and abomination with their love of God, of the unity of the universe, and their selfless devotion to conscious growth and evolution. So once you get on this path, Jazzy, like we were saying, there's really no getting off. It's a never-ending, evolving thing through the stars and space, forever, for all of us. But that's what the being open-ended, having that openness to be able to fathom other realms. Most people can't even fathom other realms, other
Most people
lanes
can't
of existence.
outside themselves. Just things that happen ordinary they can't fathom. So imagine.
Right. So being open-ended, touching the infinite and eternal, letting that downswing of energy come down, all that.
So for the average person that's listening, As far as when it comes down to allowing the downloads, what must one do?
Now the downloads are tricky because sometimes they come when you don't expect them.
Mhm.
So the first thing you have to do is be weary of downloads. You got to start to you got to make your little mind, set your mind for like a timer that whenever you get a spiritual download, ding, hey, something's coming. You have to consciously be aware of these things. Everything works on you being conscious of it. That's why you have to meditate. Be quiet. Don't talk as much. Listen, especially to the inner you, because that's where everything, all the power is. But it's tough to do when you're so concerned about what everything outside of you.
You know what I've been doing each morning? Because this week I was going to work at 4, but I'll go back to my natural time this week coming. But last week I was going in at 4. So it was early. So, it's known that a lot of spiritual concepts and downloads become between the 3 and 5 a.m. You know how they
Mm-hmm,
say the witching hours.
mm-hmm,
So I said, well, what I'm gonna do instead of going ahead and putting on a podcast that I missed or putting on music to go ahead and get my day started, I started playing meditation music the first thing in the morning, like on my way going to work, and while I'm my before people start coming in, just go ahead and letting the
mm-hmm,
frequency of energy just go ahead. Rather it was cleansing chakras, rather it was overcoming fear. They got so many titles for different ones. It was just spirit, just like, you know what? I don't want you to do nothing else but just leave your mind free and open at this time. Play this music and get your mind. Let this music go ahead and be your guide, basically, to go ahead and block everything else off. Because if I would have put, even though I only listen really to jazz music, it's still, I would have been listening for the bass part. You know what I'm saying? So it
uh-huh.
just, instead of
Thinking
getting
about
the
the
whole
notes to
message,
play.
yeah.
I
And
know what
so
you're
instead
saying.
of, but it was very important for me to go ahead and just play frequency music this week, just to go ahead and get my mind, get my body already in tune for the day,
Well,
for
you got to
whatever is
remember
going to
you
happen.
can heal the body through frequency. Tones are very, very important.
Mhm,
That's why they took all the bells out.
mhm.
Yeah, belling, bells, little shrine, all that was very powerful for healing. If your
Yeah,
baby cries now and you hit the right frequency, ding, they'll stop crying immediately, no
they
matter
used to
what's
have
going on with it.
a bell in almost every state before that used to ring like 12 o'clock, noon,
Yep, they
six
took it away.
o'clock. Yeah, I don't
Remember,
hear
just
it no
like
more.
they took 8 tracks, records. Why? What is it made on? Carbon. What is carbon? Melanin.
Mhm,
When the music gets played, nigga, our melanin used to feel it, and the vibration used to heal us. That's why it seems like the nightclubs back then in the '60s, how that shit used to be pumping. They used to be in there sweating. There wasn't no goddamn air conditioning in there. They was in there
mhm,
sweating their ass off, having fun. Couldn't even feel the heat.
mhm. But now they don't encrypt everything, so all your tones are being meshed.
Right. Digitized. So they can
Right,
control it.
compress, control
They
it,
moved
right.
they took the living aspect out of it.
Hmm. That's
That's
why
why a good record with a diamond tip through a good stereo system, a Fenix start, man, that shit sounds so good.
that's why I tell people, I'm like, you know what? I can't do anything that's not live drums, because it's the beat, the bass, the guitar, the keyboard. That energy is live, and people singing live. It's not over nothing. That's do no studio. It's not compressed. You're getting the raw footage of the essence of what music is. A lot of people don't do that no more. You know what I'm saying? Even when you go to somewhere now, if it's karaoke, they're gonna play a CD for you to sing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We came up in the time where, when you came to the shows that I was doing, we had a band. You request a song and the band played exactly what you did. So you can actually feel the difference between that and going to a karaoke. And you know what? I wish that they go back to live bands, because the thing is, it's just that, but people they so money hungry now, but the energy level is so much more stronger when you have a live performance than you listening to a CD and somebody singing over it. It's just
Make them
totally
go back.
different.
Let you start going back to it, do a show or two, and make a whole bunch of money. I bet niggas be going back to live and make them do it. That's what I say. Don't hope, nigga. You know how to do it. You've done it before. If that
Mhm.
so pleases you now, you know what I'm saying.
Right.
But it's
That's
all
why.
once
That's
again. It comes back to knowing. You know, once you know, you would think that you can do better, and that knowing is a part of being open ended. All of it had to do with the same thing, different
mm,
aspects. Look, different keys, the different locks, and all the locks had to be open for you to actually get to the point of, oh, that's what all
mm,
this is for.
mhm. I put a post up today too, right? And it just took me back to like I was just saying like this generation will never understand the power of getting a girl phone number from the mall or from skating or from a house party or party or somewhere. They would never understand because you know what the whole thing is. First of all, you had to have a pen. You had to have some kind of the writes the number down. You know what I'm saying? Unless you could remember the name and the number of every number you got that night, but it's barely likely. So most dudes used to carry a pen just to go ahead, just in case they ran into somebody. Write that down. That
In
whole
a black
energy of
book. In a black book.
the generation today will never understand. Yeah, you can get somebody's social media, but all you got to do is if you know who they is, just go look for them. You can get it yourself. But to go ahead and actually, where the girl wrote the number down and say, "Call me."
That was that shit. It was like, yo, gotta
It's
know.
different today. That is different today.
Well,
And
now the women will come up to you. Shit
then you
crazy.
had to go. Then you had to go home. Then you had to make sure that you didn't lose the number or the name. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
yeah. Or
If you
just wrote
lost
the
the
number and then had a name. Like,
name,
oh,
or you didn't what are the numbers you couldn't read?
oh yeah.
You be trying to go ahead. Yo, I mean
Well, you
they
needed a
will
lot
never
more
understand.
confidence in yourself back then. A lot
Right,
more
right,
to do
right,
anything.
right. Anybody
Yeah,
could
they
be
wouldn't even
anything on
hang.
social.
And
Anybody
like
could
you
do
said,
anything on social media.
you showed the snow up to your chest.
Yeah,
I mean, gone to school, you straight.
just yeah,
You can
yeah,
make it.
yeah. Now, if these kids today, if it's a snow, it'd be
It's
this much
over then.
snow.
We can't go to school for 3 days.
Built character. It built character.
It's a different day, different time. They're a
Yeah,
little more programmed
spoiled.
than we were. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Our programming just had most to do with school. We didn't
Hmm.
have much television.
But you had to figure
Radio
stuff
was
out.
good. They hadn't figured out how to turn music against us in the 70s.
You had to
That
do the
didn't come to the
research and
80s
figure
and
it out.
90s.
You had to do the
No,
research and
they
figure
did
it
it in
out.
rock music first.
What's that?
They did it in rock music because in the 70s they were going against the war. So they
Hmm.
figured out if they put the subliminal messages in rock music, oh, okay. So then they just took that and took it straight over to hip hop. Put it right behind them tracks of killing people, kill someone.
Hmm.
You won't even know, you can't even hear it, but it's there. It is what
Hmm.
it is.
Hmm.
Well, all right, Jazzy. Woo. We done ran down the rabbit hole, man, and came all the way back up, being
Yeah.
open ended,
My
touching
team
the
playing
infinite and
tonight.
eternal.
Even though,
What it
I'm not
means.
trying.
Oh, who they
Huh?
playing?
Washington
Oh, okay.
Commanders. So I might just take a peep in, but I'm getting ready
Spring
for
season.
the business day tomorrow. So
Yeah. Back to work.
and go ahead and get my mind programmed for the week to go ahead and say no.
No. Back.
Whatever question you got, the answer is no.
All
No.
right.
All right, bro.
Facebook, YouTube, everyone, Jazzy, thank you. Mental, Miss Desi, peace.
Like,
One
share,
love for
subscribe.
all. Share, subscribe. Remember,
Yeah.
open up your mind. Mental expansion. Move off what looks good, feels good, tastes good, sounds good into the next realms.